At Harvard Law School, we made the decision fairly early on that we could be all remote in the fall. It wasn't a surprise. It was a huge advantage. We all knew our challenge. Our challenge was to deliver a first-class legal education to the most deserving audience, our Harvard Law students. We had the summer to do it.
So could we at scale transform the law school for a once-in-a-generation opportunity for students?
For many of us on the faculty, we have been teaching for decades, and we've kind of learned along the way what works best for us. And all of that basically had to be thrown into question, not out the window, but definitely into question.
I analogize it a bit to watching the best ballet you've ever seen in your entire life on the Lincoln Center stage all of a sudden move to the deck of a cruise ship. Well, our faculty and everyone else in our community have not missed a beat in making this transition.
I'd never been more nervous about any first day of class, with the exception of my first day of class, which was now 35 years ago. But in some ways, it's never been as exciting or fulfilling because it was all brand new.
Every faculty member got a setup, and we got to tailor our setups to have a kind of Zoom studio, if you will, because the sense is that people are at their best when they are in their comfort zone. And most of us are very comfortable in the classroom. And for some faculty members, that meant actually getting their HLS podium to them so they could have it literally in front of them, so they could feel as though they're just in the classroom again.
So the first thing I did is I set up a table in the middle of a room in my house. And I put a podium on it, just like I have in the classroom. And then I mounted two big TVs on the wall in front of me. And I keep one of them on gallery view that enables me to see about half the class.
And when you look at the different visuals of people's setups, it really suits their style. I've got lights that I can adjust actually on my phone up or down as I am here, kind of very Hollywood, right? My husband's a filmmaker, so it's an opportunity. He said, good lighting is really, really important.
I moved down to the basement. We made this a project over the summer for the family to try to create a Zoom studio for me out of what is not perhaps the most inviting space. This is the sort of before shot of what the basement looks like. We got some peel and stick wallpaper, made me a sort of fake wall. I had, as you can see, an ultra-wide monitor on the bottom where I could see all the students in the class.
One of the things I really like is that I have, kind of 3 screens set up on which I'm running my PowerPoints and videos where I can see all my students and then my notes. In the physical classroom, I'm a pacer. So that took some adjustment because I don't think that would work very well in a remote environment. I've also constructed a massive bulletin board above my desk where I sort of, again, keep teaching notes and little actually cards and stuff that I've gotten from students that sort of make it more homemade.
I wanted my students to have precisely the same intellectual opportunity that students would get if they were sitting in front of me in a classroom.
I aim to try to find out what were the added features of this remote environment that could make for a better learning and teaching experience in some ways.
I think what surprised me was that I was still able to read body language, even with a tesserae of 70 faces or 80 faces in front of me on a particular day, and that my jokes landed. That if you ask me what I was the most worried about is that in person, you get the feedback of the laughter and stuff like that. Here, everybody's on mute. And I was like, is this going to feel like dead and low energy?
1L year at Harvard Law School is a challenging endeavor in the best of times. And these students knowingly took on 1L at Harvard Law in a pandemic online. So a little bit like Ginger Rogers doing everything backwards and in heels. And they've just been so tremendous.
I was really floored by the depth and engagement of students.
They have remarkably been good sports, been conscientious, perhaps been more attentive in a Zoom environment than they would have otherwise.
I love all my students every year, but this year I am particularly impressed getting to kind of see how they work in this environment.
In the traditional classroom, there's a little bit of I'm responsible for teaching this course and you're responsible for learning it. And here I felt like everybody was responsible for making the most of our time together.
The stamina, the resilience, the engagement of the students, and the message I got looking at them was basically like this: no damn pandemic is going to take my future away from me.
I remember every student, I think this is true, from my first class. I remember where they sat in the room. I remember who they were. Whenever I see them, there's a kind of special feeling between that class and me. And I said to them, I think we're going to have the same thing. And I promised them that one day we would find some way to have a reunion where we could bring everybody together in person.